Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning. Very happy to welcome Mary Jo Haroff from Girls on the Run. Good morning, Mary Jo.
Good morning, Susie. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so happy that we can finally do this. We've been planning this for quite some time, and before we were so rudely interrupted by coronavirus, we're finally getting it done.
Exactly. Yeah, we're excited to be able to talk about what we're doing right now during the summer and hopefully what we're going to be able to do this fall when kids hopefully go back to school.
Yeah, all of that is hopeful. Let's first of all talk about Girls on the Run, the whole philosophy behind it and what you're all about.
Well, Girls on the Run, the chapter that we are responsible for is East Central Ohio, and we cover Stark County, Wayne County, and Tuscarawas County. And what we are is we are a confidence building program for young girls, grades 3 through 8. We have two separate programs, a 3rd through 5th grade program that really focuses on the girl as an individual so that she understands that she's unique, that she is, beautiful inside out, and we give her the confidence that she can do anything she wants in the world, and we do that through running games and building up her confidence, her physical sense of being, her social sense of being, and her emotional sense of being. What we do is typically we have a 10-week program. We work with the girls for 90 minutes twice a week. During that 90 minutes, we go through a curriculum which is very intentionally designed by Girls on the Run International. In fact, it is one of 3 after-school programs recognized by Harvard as a social emotional to have the social emotional learning content for girls of that age. So we work with them, we play these running games, and we build up their confidence so that at the end of that 10 weeks, we usually run a 5K, and they are able to do it with no problem.
Wow.
So it's really, our 5K really has been usually a very special event when you have all these young girls come together that run across the line and are, after 10 weeks of working toward a goal.
Yes. There's a saying, Mary Jo, it's not flattering. You run like a girl. How does this counteract that?
Well, when we say you run like a girl, we usually turn around and say, well, are you going to keep up?
So you turn it around being a good thing, a positive. That's a compliment. Yep. You run like a girl.
Yeah, it's like you run like a, that's good right. Job. Well, you're going to keep up. So yeah, it's, running. One of the things about Girls on the Run is that even though it's running based, and we use running as a way to teach girls that it can also be a way for them to use as an outlet as they grow older. Mm-hmm. There's the woman who started Girls on the Run. She started it back in 1996. Her name is Molly Baker, and she had a very tough childhood. And as she grew older, she would just go out and run. Yeah. And she found running very therapeutic. And what she decided to do was get a group of girls together and kind of teach them about running, but also used it as a way to build the group camaraderie between that small group of girls and use it to help them, grow and become confident. And so that's kind of how Girls on the Run got started.
How does running help that in particular? What is it about running that helps you achieve these goals?
Well, I think a lot of times when you're running, you're by yourself in your own head a lot.
Yeah.
And so you get to think. But as we're building some of the lessons that we teach how to take, like one lesson is stop and take a breather. In running, you have to learn how to breathe as you're running. Mm-hmm. So learning how to pull yourself back from a situation, think about it, how you're going to respond before you respond, and then move forward. So those are some of the lessons that we're teaching as we are going through our sessions. Mm-hmm. And we're doing that through doing laps or playing games that get the girls moving. Mm-hmm. Another one of my favorite lessons that we have is one that's called I Feel When You, Because I Wish You Would. And that allows girls to figure out how to non-defensively express their emotions to someone who's hurt them or is not treating them the way that they want to be treated.
Say that, what are those again? I feel,
when you,
mm-hmm.
because I wish you would.
So it helps them be able to articulate what the problem is and really help be able to address a conflict.
Exactly.
Well, that's a good skill. That's going to be a lifelong skill, as is running.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things, Girls on the Run International in 2016 did a study for the girls that ran in our program, an impact study, and it taught us that we learned that 85% of the girls that they studied improved their confidence and their connections to others by going through the program. And that 97% of them continued to learn the skills and the tools that we gave them at home, at school, or beyond.
What ages do you start with, Mary Jo?
We start with third graders.
And generally, a third grader is not going to have any apprehension about running. It's considered play at that time. It's not really considered, exercise or working out. It's just fun.
Mm-hmm.
How
and
about
make it fun?
Yes, and you make it fun. How about the kids who are not maybe as athletic or as prepared to run as some of the other kids? How do you pull them in?
Well, usually it's through the games that we play. Everyone gets to participate, but the way that we look at it is we want them to keep their bodies moving forward. So even if they're walking, even if some girls are skipping, the goal is just to keep your body active and moving forward.
How many years have you been doing this?
Oh, my. We have been in Stark County. This will be our 10th year.
Wow. So do you find girls coming back and back and back? And do you find them helping other younger ones along the way?
Yeah, we have a 44% return rate. So if someone starts in third grade, 44% of those girls will come back fourth through fifth grade. As I said, we also have a middle school program. The middle school program is not as large as our grade school program, just because I think girls have a little bit more activities that interfere with this.
Yeah.
But we do see that those girls that have gone through the program, when they get into high school, they come back as a junior coach. And we really encourage that because it is, the younger girls really love to have those junior coaches or someone who's gone through the program to help them and encourage them as they're going through the program.
Mm-hmm. Well, and there's just something about the endorphins that happen in the way we're designed that moving makes us feel better.
It does. Especially now in these days. I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm trapped in my office. And that's why I really missed Girls on the Run, because it forced me to get outside. It forced me to keep moving, because as a coach, we're right there with the girls, helping them participate.
Well, I think in these days, that daily walk, I used to run, I walk now, but that daily walk has been the one thing that has gotten us outside and get a little fresh air and sunshine and feel for that hour and a half, things feel a little normal. That's been the one thing that's kept things feeling a little normal. So let's take a look at Girls on the Run. How have you managed to keep this going while kids are sort of isolated and on their own and not going to school and certainly not meeting in groups? How have you kept this going? What have you done?
Well, one of the things that we're offering this summer, and this is a new kind of pilot program for Girls on the Run, is we developed a kit called our Power Up Kit. And it is available to girls on our website to order. And we do have what we call scholarship kits. So if someone is eligible for the free lunch programs, they can go ahead and fill out a different form, and they can get their kit delivered to them. But in this kit, there's 50 different activities for a girl to do. Basically, once the coronavirus hit, we kind of said, how do we still offer something to the girls, that they can do at home without the group setting.
Yes.
They can get a family member, maybe do it with them. And so Girls on the Run International developed this kit. And within this kit, it's a spiral-bound activity book. It comes with a training chart where you track your activities that you're doing. It comes with a T-shirt. I think it comes with, there's some bracelets and stuff in there for the girls to use. But it is a kit to fuel a girl's mind, body, and spirit during this time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bookmark, but it is something that we're making available throughout the United States to any girl who wants to participate. Someone who's interested locally can go to our website, which is www.gotrec.org, and look up Power Up, and you can, browse through the kit. And if you wanted the kit, you can go ahead and order it online.
The GOTR makes sense. What does ECO stand for?
East Central Ohio.
Got it. Okay. GOTRECO.org, and you can get that kit. What are some of the 50 activities?
So some of the topics that we that are in this at-home kit, there are we are unique, we are similar, and there are games that goes through to utilize running also, that if you're doing this with someone in your family, so that you can find out what are their interests, what makes them unique, what are you unique. So there's questions like, do you like chocolate ice cream or vanilla ice cream? And so you get to know the person that you're with and find out what's similar with them and what's similar and what makes you different than the person that you're with.
Yes, to be able to appreciate the similarities and to appreciate the differences.
Yep. So then there's dealing with difficult situations. We provide them some information on how to deal with the situation, and that's usually where we bring in the I feel when you...
We're talking about much more than running, aren't we, Mary Jo?
Exactly. Definitely a lot more than running. What some of the, like this one is stand up for yourself and others. There's activities in here that, such as setting up an obstacle course, and with pillows and blankets and toys, so that you can do in
your own home, something you can just do in your own home, and some.
Yep.
Okay. Well, it sounds like somebody's done a lot of legwork to put this together. So go to GOTRECO.org, and you can get a kit for your own little girl in your life, and get 'em moving. We do need to take a short break, speaking with Mary Jo Haroff from Girls on the Run, and we'll be back after these words. You're listening to Our Community. And welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Mary Jo Haroff, talking about Girls on the Run. And you can find out more by going to GOTRECO.org, and that stands for Girls on the Run, East Central Ohio.org. Mary Jo, why is it Girls on the Run and not Kids on the Run? What is it specifically about girls that needed a program like this?
Well, I think when this originally started, as I said, started in 1996, it was really focused on girls at this time really face challenges. And the challenges that girls face are different than boys. Even though, yes, we want to have kids and be all-inclusive with regards to things that they're doing, in our program, we focus specifically on some of the challenges that young girls are currently facing during that time. I mean, making sure that they're staying active, understanding how to deal with gossip. Bullying at that age is so important to give them something to combat that. Mm-hmm. And a girl bullying a girl is different than a boy bullying a boy. So girls are more emotional. Boys are physical. And so this program really deals with that emotional well-being for the girl at that age.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it certainly is something that I would think goes into adulthood as well. You think about how women relate to other women. Those things start early. Some little girls have long memories, and it is a different conflict is different when you're talking about little girls. Where little boys can go out on the playground, have a good fight and a physical fight, and walk away best friends. Little girls fight differently, don't they? What do you find as far as giving them these kinds of skills? How their conflict resolution changes once they're in this program?
I'm going to give you an example. I coach over in Massillon, and almost been 2 years ago, we had our girls out there practicing, and it was one of those days where it was hot and it was nearing the end of the school season. And we had this one girl who she just did her running. She ran the practice and was very, kind of kept to herself. But where the other girls were acting silly, and you could tell school was getting ready to end. And at the end of the session, she came up to me and she said to me how she felt that she wasn't included in the silliness. And I said, and this was right. We had learned our I Feel When You lesson a couple weeks before. And I said, I think you need to tell the rest of the group how you feel. Mm-hmm. Are you strong enough to use the skills that we learned? And she said with little tears in her eyes, yes, I'd like to tell the team that. So we got the team together, and she said, I felt very alone today because you guys were acting silly and you didn't include me in with the silliness. Mm-hmm. I wish you would have thought more about my feelings. And I'll tell you what, that from that moment, that team was so together. They made sure that everybody was included in any type of silliness, or when they, held hands and ran up the hill. It changed the momentum of those girls. And I don't think first of all, I think the little girl who was able to articulate how she was feeling will use that moment continuing in her life. So, she's not going to be afraid to tell someone that, hey, I'm bothered by the way that you treated me.
Yes.
And those other girls said, wow, we need to pay attention to how we act in front of people, because this is our team. And our teams aren't that big. We have teams of between 10 and 20 girls. Mm-hmm. So if someone's not included, it hurts. And those girls really, really bonded afterwards. And I thought it was one of those, I teared up moments because watching them come together was really great.
Mm-hmm. And see that bond. I think you're talking about working with children that are an age where they are so concerned about what other people think of them that they can barely get out of themselves to think about the other person first. When you're teaching them we're happier when we're not thinking about ourselves, to be aware of the people around us. Are we including everybody? Are we making them feel comfortable? And then we're going to feel comfortable automatically once we're thinking that. But that's not, you need a little bit of maturity before you realize that. And they're learning it at a nice young age.
And one of the other things that Girls on the Run does, which I haven't mentioned, is that during a normal season, our last 4 lessons is about community. We teach them what it means to be part of a community, and every team does a community service project. So the girls think about what is it that they want to do, whether it's, save the whales or feed the hungry, or the team in Massillon. Everyone, that group found, as we were talking about, unique. Every single girl on that team had a pet. And every single girl on that team had a brother, too, which I thought was really interesting. The pets were, obviously cats and dogs and such, but everyone having a brother made that team very, come together. But so what we did is we took old T-shirts, ripped them up, and made dog chew toys.
Oh, how
and
cute.
Gave them to a woman who fosters dogs. She had a foster home for dogs. So
how cute.
That was our community service project that year.
How nice. Since you mentioned brothers, what do these girls learn as far as going through this program and working on their self-confidence in how they do handle family relationships and when there's a little boy in the family?
Well, I think just the skills that we teach them in our lessons. I mean, we teach them how to, how to take a stop and take a breather. It allows them to say, hey, I'm not going to let my little brother get to me. Making sure that they understand the challenges of thinking before they speak. Also making sure, that they learn that they're different from their brothers and that it's okay for their brothers to be tough, but they need to also, stand up for themselves. It's one of the things that we teach the girls is that it's okay to stand up for yourself, and it's even more okay for you to stand up for someone else. So we teach them, if someone's picking on their brother, even if it's another sibling, or how to do good for others.
Yes. They will find that those brothers become very protective of them as they get a little bit older and move into different stages. But just a wonderful thing to be able to add to a family dynamic and friendship dynamic and community dynamic. We're talking about Girls on the Run with Mary Jo Haroff. You're hoping to be able to have some kind of an event in the fall. I'm sure you're thinking about how to keep everyone safe while this is happening, if it's able to go forward. Talk to me about all of the protocols you're talking about.
Well, what we are doing for our fall, now, typically we have our programs, our after-school programs, and a lot of them are at school, so the girls just stay afterwards and participate. This fall, we're changing it up a bit because we're still unsure what's going on at the schools and if they'd even allow after-school programs. So we are working with community centers and some churches in the area that would allow us to come and have a small group meeting at those facilities.
When you're talking about a small group, are you saying like 10 or fewer?
Yes, we have our protocol is that it's going to be 10 or less girls and then 2 coaches. So it's only groups of 10 this year. But we have 2 trained coaches, and our coaches definitely go through a pretty extensive training course to become a coach for Girls on the Run, because we not only teach them all of the lessons and go through the lessons, we also give them the cues to understand, how to read a girl's body language when she's at a session, so that they can better be in tune with how those girls are feeling. So we're looking to pull from our experienced coaches or ones that have already been trained for this fall. However, we are taking coach applications. So if anyone is interested to help us out and work with the girls this fall, we'd love it. Well, we have modified our program to be a 8-week session this time instead of a normal 10. And we have made concessions for the social distancing. Girls will be given a basically a backpack or a cinch sack of all their materials, so that we won't have a big bag of stuff to share, that everything will be named and given to the girl. And so, as I said, we're looking for community centers or churches where we can have our small group meetings with the 10 girls and our 2 coaches to participate. We're looking for these community centers to have an outdoor space so that they can, do their running games and be silly, but also a place that they can be indoors should it have inclement weather or have, have their sit down and their when we do our warm-ups and we do our kind of recap as to what the lesson is about. So we are looking to have our program start after Labor Day. So it would go from second week in September through, I think it's Halloween.
So we're really looking for churches, needing some
churches would be
to
ideal,
have a space, because you might have that nice community room as well in case it's raining or so forth. You can go indoors with masks, probably, and then or be outdoors in a nice kind of field area. So
exactly.
we've got some churches who are in our community here, so let's hear from them. Best thing to do, Mary Jo, they would go to gotreco.org. There's a place to sign up saying we can donate our space.
Exactly, or you could send me an email at info@gotreco.org.
Okay, awesome. Primarily, you just need the space. There's no other requirement of the churches other than to say you can have it here?
Yes, that is what we're looking for right now because, and then we will do the recruitment for coaches and we will also do the recruitment for the girls. The reason, most of the sites that we're thinking is that it's going to be more evening programs, so after 5, because parents will then be responsible for the transportation for their girls.
Okay, so parents will be responsible for the transportation, and any things that they have will already be provided individually to each of the girls, so there's no group anything or touching stuff and sharing too many things. Okay, and then if someone's interested in becoming a coach, how do they do that?
On our website, there is a section that says volunteer, and it says the first link down is coach, and our coach applications are open right now. So you would just fill out that application, and then our program director, Didi Amentis, will get in touch with you and walk you through the process of what it takes to be a coach.
Great development program for young ladies. It's called Girls on the Run, gotreco.org, or if your church can be a location this fall, very important, you can just send an email to info@gotreco.org. Mary Jo Haroff, thank you so much for all you do in our community.
Oh, thank you for having us. We really appreciate the opportunity to speak to